In case of plants, the sexual reproduction can be divided into two parts. First part is parts of plant that help in sexual reproduction and the methods of sexual reproduction. So first of all, let us discuss all about the parts in the plant that help in the sexual reproduction. The reproductive part, that is the flower. Yes, the flower is the reproductive organ in case of a plant, and the mechanism with which the flower reproduces, we will be discussing it. My dear students, the video is having important questions in between. So do watch the video completely and note down the important questions on your notebooks. You can do this easily, isn't it? And along with that, watch the video till the end, because at the end I will be telling you the for sure, that is the most important question of the chapter. So this is a flower. You can see how brightly colored it is. Do you know why it is brightly colored? Why flowers have so attractive colors and fragrance along with juices in it? One reason is there. Can you answer? Okay, I will tell you the answer, but not now. Firstly, let us see the structure of this flower. Students, the flower can be divided into four parts or four whorls. We call the parts of the flower as whorls. The first whorl is the calyx or the sepals. As you can see in the diagram, these are sepals. They are green in color. Corolla, that is the petals. You can see in the diagram, petals are brightly colored. They can be red, pink, orange, yellow, of any color. Third part or the third whorl is androecium, or we can say androecium consists of stamens in it. Stamens have two parts, anther and filament. And the fourth whorl is the gynoecium. Gynoecium consists of pistils, which can be divided into three parts: style, stigma and ovary. So students, the four whorls that are present in a plant are not equal. The first two whorls are known as non-essential whorls, and the last two whorls are known as essential whorls. But why non-essential and essential whorls? Because calyx and corolla, they have the function in supporting the reproduction. The male part of the plant androecium and the female part of the plant gynoecium, that is stamen and pistils, actually help in the mode of sexual reproduction in plants. That is why they have also been given the name the essential whorls of the flower. Based on the type of essential whorls present, the flower can be divided into two types: unisexual flower or bisexual flower. The flower which is having either one of the male or female gamete, then it is known as a unisexual flower. The flower which has only stamen is known as a staminate, and which has only pistil is known as a pistillate flower. Whereas the flower that has both the male and female reproductive organs is known as a bisexual flower. And the next part is mechanism of sexual reproduction in plants. There are 5 parts of this topic. First is pollination. Pollination is defined as the transfer of male gamete towards the female gamete. It can further be divided into self-pollination and cross-pollination. Both the topics completely are in our syllabus. So next I will be explaining you this. Fertilization. When the male gamete reaches the female gamete, then there is the mixing of the two gametes, that is fertilization, formation of seed and fruit. Where after fertilization, there will be the formation of seed and fruit. After the formation, they need to be dispersed, and once the seed and fruits are dispersed, from the seeds there will be the development of new plant, and that is the seed germination process. Self-pollination is a process in which the transfer of male gamete to the female gamete of the same flower take place. But cross-pollination is a process in which the transfer of male gamete towards the female gamete will take place in different plants or different flowers. So, see the diagram of self-pollination and cross-pollination. One question I have asked you students, that why flowers are brightly colored? That answer I am going to give you now. In case of cross-pollination, there is the presence of agents of pollination. These agents of pollination help in the movement of small minute pollen grain from one flower to the flower which is at a distance or even very large distance. These agents can be insects, birds, water or wind. Some examples of agents I have given here. These help in the transfer of pollen grains. Out of this, insects and birds get attracted with the juices, colors and fragrance present over the flower. So that is why only those flowers have brightly colored petals, fragrance and juices that need to be pollinated by insect or birds, so that insect and birds get attracted to them. They sit over them and the pollen grain will stick over their wings or legs, and like that it will move to the next plant. But water and wind pollination, the case is quite different. We will discuss that also. Students, pollination can be of one more type. All the types that we have seen up till now were natural, but artificially also pollination can take place, and that is known as artificial pollination or hybridization. In this process, human beings by themselves can take the male part of the flower and let it pollinate with the female part. Like this, the pollination can be carried out in the conditions suitable. Students, in this process, there is firstly the emasculation, that is the removal of the male part or the required stamens from the plant. Then there will be artificially introduction of the pollen grains in the style, stigma and then ovary. Like this, the required plants can be produced. These plants have high yield, or we can say the required plants with required characteristics can be produced very easily by artificial hybridization or pollination. And the last part of the chapter is fertilization, that is the fusion of male and female gamete. Let me show with the help of a flow chart how male and female gametes unite together. Male part, that is the androecium or stamens, consists of pollen grains. Inside the pollen grains, the male gamete is present. Female part, that is the ovary, consists of ovules, in which the ovum, egg or the female part, female gamete is present. When the both unite, then zygote is formed. Zygote is an initial cell which is formed by mixing of male and female gamete. This zygote gets converted by cell division into the embryo inside the seed. This is how fertilization takes place in the flower. One diagram also you have to remember, that is this one. In this diagram, as you can see, there is the presence of style, stigma and ovary. Inside the ovary, ovules are present that get united with the pollen grain. Now let us see what all things are formed after fertilization. The ovum changes into embryo, ovule changes into seed, ovary changes into fruit, petals and sepals fall off. But in case of tomatoes and chilies, petals and sepals remain intact. So this is the fate of all the different parts of a flower after fertilization.